Hey, hello. Wow, you're already here. Yes, we're live. Thank you so much. You're already here. Fantastic. Many thanks for coming along. So this week, last week we did quite a complicated fold with the daisy. So I thought I'd give us a little bit of light relief. And I thought I'd bring along, it's a completely traditional piece. So many of you may know this, but it's still such fun. And I think the wonderful thing with origami is actually the repetition. It's really comforting, and you find more delight, I think, in it every time. You'll appreciate it in different ways. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. The paper balloon or water bomb. Actually, I didn't know this until very recently. So I've rather been enjoying it. So I thought maybe we could decorate a piece of paper, then fold it. And you can do this larger. You could use paper or tissue paper and make actually a big balloon. Or you could be really bold and decide to fill it with water and lob it outside if you're feeling a bit mischievous. So it's up to you. But I hope you're going to enjoy this. As I said, it's nice and simple. I'll chat for just a couple of minutes because often it takes people a little time to come. Wendy was actually asking me if I might demonstrate the next one, which I'm having great fun. I'll show you. It's so pretty. Making these Tomoko fuse flowers. And then I've been kind of linking them together. Hello, Amanda. Linking them together. So, but I'm linking them inside. Oh, it's just very pretty, isn't it? But of course, the challenge is at linking pieces inside. By the end, it's going to get very tricky. I don't know whether anyone who does origami has got tips on this one. It wasn't necessarily intended as a modular piece, but I might show you next week how to make a flower, but I'm not necessarily sure I'd recommend going immediately for a nice ball of it, but it's fun to try. I'm imagining it's going to be like a little kaleidoscope when it's finished. It's smooth on the outside, but if you look inside, you see it's full of amazing flowers. But we will do something simple this week. And I think it's good for summer holidays, isn't it? Hello, Rosemary. Oh, thank you. Oh, hello, Joe. Lovely. I'm so glad that you can come and join me. That's fantastic. As a little group, I sort of now imagine us as at a table. It's so lovely that you're coming together. So, Joe, we're gonna do something quite fun this week. We're going to do something simpler. We did a difficult one, didn't we, last week? So I thought we should rest up, do something that's fun and simple. So we're going to make a paper balloon. You could also, if you're feeling very daring, if you do have kids, but only outside this one, you can fill them with water and chuck them. So it'll hold water for a bit and you can throw them. So they're also called water bombs. And if you have something like tissue paper or newspaper, you can make them bigger and make them as actual balloons as well. So I think people are arriving. This is great. So also just to warn you, I'm thinking at some point over the summer, probably mid-August, I might take either a week or two off. I'm not sure necessarily that we'll even go anywhere, but I'm trying not to be a hypocrite on my own self-care because I felt really guilty that I'd give you any gap at all. But I'm trying to make sure that, like yourselves, that we look after ourselves. So at some point I'll let you know in advance, and we'll also encourage you maybe to do a bit of homework during that time if you do feel like you're missing it. And this is something that I'm continuing, so it's not in any way stopping, but just I might take 1 or 2 week gap. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. It's hard, isn't it, now to take a holiday, but I'm just thinking I ought to take a holiday for my mind in some way. Brilliant. And you've all been chatting too. It's so nice. So if you grab some paper, possibly I would suggest even the A4 paper rather than the small origami paper, because the bigger it is, the better. And if you have any felt tips too, I reckon we should do a little bit of decoration. Makes it more interesting. I've actually been I'm going to show you another time, but I'm developing some resources about how amazing our body is. And I've been doing drawings of the lungs. And then you can inflate that. So it will be about the body and how obviously our lungs inflate. So that'll be something to come. It's quite interesting doing a drawing that then changes through folding. So I'm looking forward to sharing that. But for now, let's just go with a traditional paper balloon. So grab your paper. Let's make a square first of all. I'm sure most of you probably have one, know what you're doing, but it's good to just start simple. So take your corner and fold it over in a nice straight line. There we go, and there we go. As I said, take your time, enjoy it. This is a simpler one, so hopefully this will be nice and restful. Last week I took you on quite an ambitious one. It was quite a high level, the daisy. Oh, thanks for coming along, David. It's nice to see you too. Thank you. So we're going to get rid of this rectangle. So it's probably a shorter fold than normal, but I think it's good to have some variety. And I think next week, as I mentioned, I might show you how to do a modular piece. So next week I'm thinking of showing you a flower. So little pieces. I have got colourful paper, which does make it look particularly pretty, but I will show you how to do it out of normal paper. So we can do something a bit more ambitious next week. There we go. I'll definitely be here next week, but I thought I should give you a warning that I may take a 1 or 2 week break. There we go. So if you've done a nice strong line, you should be able to rip it. Satisfying in itself. There we go. Right, so if you open it up, and if you go for the side where it's kind of a ridge, let's decorate it. If you've got any pens or words, I think actually writing's an interesting one too, then decorate it. I've been doing some quite dynamic ones because I'm thinking about how it will become a balloon, or it might even pop. So let's do a little bit of, and if you want to, if you can share any pictures, I always love seeing what people have been making. There's something quite something quite amazing. Of makes you feel properly interactive. I know it is. And some of you have been very sweet. You've sent pictures of what you're seeing on the screen, which is really nice too. Actually, also, it's probably full, but if you look on my Twitter feed, if you are free on Saturday, I'm doing a fold through Zoom. It's through our library in Oxford, but ultimately, I think whoever signs up is fine. And it will be an hour's fold, but with Zoom you can see each other, so it does make a real difference. It's much easier. I know David's been using that too. So that's going to be 11 till 12 on Saturday. So if you looked up my Twitter feed at Dr. Lizzie Burns, you'd find a link there. Yeah, right, sorry. Getting carried away with the colour and chatting, but maybe you've done one too. So we've already done a fold there. I want you to do the other fold. So if you turn it over and do your diagonal, and just shout if you need me to slow down, but hopefully this will feel pretty relaxed compared to last time. Well, there's me too. Oh, it's so nice. And Eric. Excellent. So it should look like this, a little tent. And our next step, as we often do, it's the same set of bases, do a horizontal and then a vertical. I guess this is called the water bomb base, is it? I think it is. Which makes sense because that's what we're making. So this is a traditional piece of origami. It's a lovely piece of engineering. So done a horizontal. And the other one. And it's quite good on Zoom because people can then hold up what they've done and they can usually recognise if it's not going well, what's gone wrong. Yeah. Thanks, I'm glad you could make it too, Joe. There we go. So it's lovely. There's a whole mixture of people. Some people who do origami, some people who don't. And hello, Stephen. And some colleagues as well from the hospital, ECH. It's really nice. Right. So if you put your finger underneath the middle, you should be able to push it up and it should pop to make a little triangular structure. So you should be able to squash it up like so. Many of you, this will be familiar, and hopefully some of you, it will be new, which is great. I'll bring it up a bit. Right. So hopefully it looks like that. Do shout if it's not. If it's a square, then you need to put it the other way around. So make sure it pops up into the triangle. So our next step is to take the corner and fold it up to the top. We could be making a butterfly at this point, but we're not. Not this time. Butterfly or a water bomb, what a choice. And then the other corner, bring it up to the top. Also, exciting news, the leaflets for Origami Inspiration leaflets have been printed, and hopefully I'm going to see the designer a bit later this afternoon through Zoom, see how many boxes 25,000 produces, and then we're going to be distributing them to hospitals all over the country. It's so exciting. And that will include, I hope, Joe, that you will get one too, because actually members of staff as well as patients should be getting them at UCH where I work. So if you turn it to the back and do the same thing. So yeah, so leaflets can be sent to York, Liverpool, Bristol, Derby, Coventry, London, as Imperial, Cambridge, Oxford. Oh my word, I don't think my head can quite take it all in. And again, showing each time how to fold from A4 paper, because otherwise people feel they need the right paper. And logistically, 25,000 with packs of paper would get a little bit hard too. But I also want to encourage people to realise that you can use any paper, and that is also delightful. Or as you've seen, you can decorate it yourself too. So are your pieces of paper looking like this? I can't hear you, but hopefully it looks like that. So on these sides, which have got the flaps, I want you to take that corner and bring it to the middle. I might have to tilt it down at this point. Sometimes these things are difficult, aren't they? There we go. So like so. So bringing that to the middle. Butterfly, yes. Well, we're gonna make a paper balloon. It's pretty cool because you get to blow it up. That's really fun. And this other corner to the middle there. I think there's always that delay, isn't there, in your message popping up. There we go. And if you turn to the back and do the same thing. So we're going to take the corner, bring it to the middle. Yeah, so someone suggested doing this tissue paper, newspaper. You could do it really big, and then it actually is like a balloon. There we go. Which sounds fun. Or you could also put a little light in it. Make it light up. Excellent. Very much. There we go. So hopefully yours looks like this. And our next step is to take this little flap. You'll find that there's a little flap at one end and there's a little pocket. And we're going to slip that into the pocket. It's funny, I've only really discovered some of these traditional ones later on, but what a joy. This is such a great one. So pushing this in, there's so many discoveries to make. I wonder how old this one is. Definitely one to amuse kids. There we go. And adults, I'm amused as well. Then this corner, again, popping that in. Doesn't matter what age you are. I think it keeps you in touch with the fun side. The thing is, it's not that easy, so I think it's very suitable for normally a little flap is folded in half. Oh, I see. Oh, that would make sense. Does it make it a little bit easier to fit in? Because I've just been pushing it in. Oh, it's interesting, isn't it, how things evolve? So I guess, so are you suggesting, David, so I suppose, so another way to make it a bit easier then, I guess, is to take this and just fold it there. Is that right? No, fold it in there. Oh yes, I see. So David's explaining to me how to do it. So this little flap, I think, if I've got this right, you can fold it there so it's lined up. Yes, thank you. And then you can lift it up and then tuck it in. So you're not having to try to curl it round, which is what I was attempting to do. Yep, there we go. Actually, I don't mind the curling round. It's funny, isn't it? You get used to doing things in an odd way. It's up to you if you prefer the folding in half as well. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting little angle there. You sort of feel like, is that right? But it's right. So I'm afraid I'm going to go back for the curling it round and folding it in. I think, because I've kind of enjoyed that. So either folding in half, as David was brilliantly showing, explaining Well, I've just been pushing it in as far as it goes, and then that's the point that you've got your fold there. So hopefully yours looks like this. This is quite a short fold today, but you know what? Sometimes it's good to do something short and simple, isn't it? And next week, we'll try and do something modular next week. And then later on in August, I will take a little bit of a break. Whilst I'll probably be doing origami, attempting to give myself some variety. This might be something like the 18th fold. I've lost count of days and weeks. I don't know. So at one end, you'll find that there's a little hole. Can you see? And I'm going to attempt to blow into it. Now, there's nothing like a demonstration for it not to work, but I'll give it a go. Open it up a little bit. I don't know whether, David, you have any top tips, but it's kind of fun when you've got lipstick because it leaves interesting marks as well. Obviously, this isn't one to make and give to somebody else at the moment. This is very much for you, for your mouth and for your touching, not for anybody else. Oh, there it went. Yay! That went rather nicely. So hopefully it's rounded out. It doesn't always, so don't be hard on yourself if it's not. I guess I should have warned you, make sure you've got a dry mouth. But hopefully it's just puffed out in a nice little way. Very satisfying. It's a bit like I do enjoy the tulip where you blow into it as well. But it often has to be quite big paper and quite light paper for it to work. But it's quite fun when you do some designs on it, isn't it? I've been enjoying doing some colouring. It can also help to fold across the top but to make it into a cube. Oh yes. If you want a ball shape, then yours is round. Yeah, I think mine's quite roundy, isn't it? Which actually it feels a little bit more unusual for origami to be rounded. I quite like it. Feels a bit more organic. And I've been, as I said, I've been doing some drawings of the lung, and which is beautiful. And then you can blow into it and inflate a little bit of a piece of lung. So that's something I've been playing around with too. Oh, a few more creases on the top. You can open this up without blowing. Yeah, but the blowing's fun, isn't it? I think I still haven't done there's a frog. Yay, cube here. Well done, Eric. I still haven't made the frog, which you can blow through its bottom and it inflates. I rather like that idea too. I mean, just the fact that you can is a lovely thing. As I said, I reckon next week, because Wendy has put in a request, I'm going to attempt to show you how to do a modular flower. I have been rather lucky. I've got some beautiful papers. This is actually all through the British Origami Society shop. They sell lots of beautiful Korean papers. So these are little papers which are already coloured and small, which is really for the cranes, I would imagine. And I'm trying to slot them in. It's not really meant as a modular ball Kasudama, but yeah, it's the but it's going to be tricky by the end. I'm discovering it's going to be really tricky because everything's tucked in inside. So how do you do the last one? I don't know whether any of you've got any tips if you've done anything like this. It's a pretty thing though, isn't it? And I'm hoping, I don't know if I can show the camera, whether you'd be able to look inside like a little kaleidoscope. But the inside's so pretty. Yeah. It's just lovely seeing what can build and play with the color mixing and structures, and it's like a little rabbit warren. You can jump in and you can just get lost in these patterns and colors and shapes and the challenge of it. Korean papers, I can show you the little box. Actually, they're delightful. They were very reasonable as well. These ones. So it's funny, I actually went last Easter, obviously not the Easter that's passed, but the Easter before, went to Korea, and I was expecting to see origami everywhere because I know that 15, no, these are much smaller. These are maybe 6 centimeters or so. Let's get a ruler. Where's a ruler when you need one? Yeah, 6 centimeters. 6 by 6 centimeters. I know it looked quite big when it's here, but it's actually quite a little box. Or I'm quite small. Yeah, and there's all sorts of gorgeous little colours. So this is really for folding cranes, I guess. And I rather enjoy using them for modular pieces as well. So you can build up lots of things. but you have to be very precise when it gets small, but it takes up less space, which is a good thing. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't see much origami in Korea. It was very strange. I found papers, and I know that people there do them, and we did see them, sorry, in temples, but other than that, not really. So it may be something of childhood. Anyway, I am chattering on, but I think we're done, aren't we? I hope you've enjoyed making your paper balloon. If anybody does actually make a water bomb and chuck it, I'd love to see. I don't know. I suppose you need a film, don't you? Maybe I should try that. Yeah, they're beautiful papers, aren't they, Joe? And yeah, recommend British Origami Society shop. You will see there's some lovely deals with those tiny colourful papers. Once you get more precise, then you can start really enjoying those colours and precision. So yeah, I think that's it for this week, and I'll bring along the folding flowers next week. But I will demonstrate from A4 paper, and we'll just tear up our own squares, and maybe you can just add your own bits of colour. But again, it might be something that if you do have papers or in the future you want to try. And this also looks rather beautiful through the light as well. It's nice, isn't it? It's a huge flower now. Yeah, and building up lots of things. Right, anyway, it's lovely. I keep on wanting to say it's lovely to see you all, but I know that you're there. Thank you so much for all your comments and for turning up. I really appreciate it. And I will be here next week. And yeah, and I hope you're going to enjoy. It'll be the first bit of doing some modular origami this way. So I may end up alternating between complicated and not complicated. It turned out well. Well done, Rosemary. I'm so glad. Yeah. If anything, I'll just keep it as an enjoyable little balloon or a sculpture. I actually haven't tried myself yet a water bomb. I may be missing out. So maybe we should try it on a piece of paper that doesn't matter. Yeah, take care, everyone. I wish you a lovely good week and enjoy more folding. Make sure you give time to look after yourself. Well done doing that. We all put ourselves at the bottom of it, and that's why I'm attempting to go. I ought to not to give myself a break at some point over the summer. Not to be a hypocrite. Our own well-being should matter, because it will bring you back more energy as well, and that will help you help other people as well. So take care, everyone. Bye.